Hi, this is Scott with Slucherville. We are in Louisville's Turkey Run Park, and right behind me where the water is, that's normally a trail. And it's been raining a lot here in Louisville for the last couple of weeks, and all the rivers and creeks are flooded, and today it stopped raining for a while, so we thought this would be a good time to get out and do a little hiking and take a look and see what all this rain has done. But we also thought it would be a good time to get out and shoot a video because a friend of mine named Adam Thompson, you can find him on YouTube under the handle of Serial Photog. He tagged me in a challenge that's going around out there that's called the Top 5 Gear Tag 5 People Challenge. I think that's what they're calling it. And so he graciously tagged me. I appreciate it. And you should check Adam out on YouTube and also on Instagram. He's also Serial Photog there as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to count down our 5 most indispensable gear items that we just refuse to leave home without. So here we go. Okay, number 5. There's going to be some DIY, I guess you could call them backpacker hacks on this list. And the first one is a garbage bag. So what really sucks when you're out backpacking is just exactly like what's going on right now. It is late February, we're moving into spring, and that means when you're out hiking and backpacking, you're going to be in the rain quite a bit. So what sucks is at the end of a long day of out walking, your clothes are wet, you're sweaty, you're stinky, you're nasty, you get camp set up and you're ready to change into some clean, dry clothes, and you reach into your backpack and everything's wet. That sucks. So an easy, cheap way to make sure that that doesn't happen is to line the inside of your backpack with a garbage bag and throw your, your pad, your sleeping bag, your clothes, all that stuff in there that you would put in the main compartment of your backpack, and you know it's all going to be dry when you get it all out at the end of the day. So number 5, garbage bag. Okay, number 4 is going to be another probably a weird item to some of you who watch this. But this is more of probably a sentimental thing, and maybe also a little bit of swipe at the gearheads that you run into sometimes when you're out backpacking. I've done a lot of backpacking in the Smokies, and so there's a lot of shelters up there. And one of the worst things in the world is to have gearhead guy roll in at the end of the day, and everything that he pulls out of his backpack and everything he's wearing comes with a 45-minute lecture on why this is the best piece of gear, why this is the most evolved piece of technology, and why his stuff is better than your stuff. So gearhead guy, if you're out there watching, number 4 is for you, and that is an aluminum pot and an aluminum grabber. I started backpacking about 40 years ago when I was about 11 or 12 years old. My dad started taking me out in the woods, and this pot and this grabber has been with me on every single backpacking trip ever since then. And there's nothing high-tech about it, but what I really like about it, I think, is the sentimental connection that I have to it. Every time I cook with this gear, it reminds me of other trips that I've taken years and years ago, and there's just a lot of memories tied up with it. Plus, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a pot, it's a grabber. I don't know how much more evolved, how much more lighter, how much more space age we need to get with that. So this is perfectly fine. I don't have a whole lot of money to spend on new gear, and so when I do have money, I want to spend it on things that really matter and not replacing something that they haven't improved on yet, which is the simple aluminum cook pot, which I absolutely love. So number 4, aluminum cook pot and my little aluminum grabber. Okay, for my number 3 piece of indispensable backpacking gear, let's talk about food. This next one's going to be a food item. So if you've been backpacking more than, say, 2 or 3 times, you've had a crappy meal while you were out on the trail. And that's something that's a rite of passage for backpacking, and it's something that never goes away. So you're always looking for what is a good tasting meal, what is something that gives me energy, what's something that gives me strength, and what's something that I don't get sick and tired of. So snacks is where we're going with this conversation. So when you're out backpacking, you're always experimenting with bars. You got Cliff bars, you got Luna bars, you got Lara bars, you got whatever bars. And as long as I've been backpacking, since I was 11, 12 years old, there has never been anything better than the Star Crunch, okay? Little Debbie. It's got all the essential food items you need. It's got sugar, it's got Rice Krispies, it's got caramel, it's got what looks like chocolate. I don't know what it really is. It could be Nutella for all I know. But what I do know is that the Star Crunch is the best, bar none, snack on the trail. And if you're leaving home without one of these, you're wrong. Let's go backpacking right now. Okay, I just got done eating about half of that box of Little Debbie snack cakes, so I'm definitely going to have to hike a few miles when we get done shooting this video. But we're down to number 2 on my 5 favorite backpacking gear items that I absolutely refuse to leave home without. So, about 10 years ago, I'm out backpacking with my father, and it's the end of the meal. It's getting dark. It's time to hang up our food. And he sees me getting my paracord out of my backpack, and he says, "Hey, do you mind putting my bag on there with yours?" And I said, "Sure." So what happened was, for the next 30, 45 minutes, I'm sitting here trying to get this rope over a tree limb, and I'm tying sticks to it, I'm tying rocks to it, and we're laughing. And I just felt like the biggest idiot out. It was well after dark before we finally got the rope over the tree limb. And so after that, I thought, all right, I got to come up with a better way of doing this that's a repeatable step where I know I'm pretty much going to get it on the first or second try every time. And so what I came up with was basically this. I've got my carabiner that I actually clip onto my food bags with, and I tied one end of my paracord to it, and then the rest of it is just rolled up into a ball about the size of a baseball, so that when I get in, I can take the carabiner and put that in my left hand and take out some slack, and then I've basically got a ball that I can then throw up. It's heavy, and it'll go pretty much where I want it to, and on the first or second try, I know that it's going to get over the limb that I want it to get over. And I'm holding one end here, and I got the other end hanging over the other side, and then I'm able to get it, clip my food on, hoist it up, and get the food tied up, and voila, we're good to go for the night. So number 2 is my handy dandy Scott Slucher do-it-yourself bear bag hanging hack kit thing. All right, we're down to number 1 on my top 5 gear items that I absolutely positively refuse to leave home without. So let's talk about the big things that scare us, the things that we're terrified of when we go backpacking. What are you thinking about? Bears? You thinking about snake bites? You thinking about hypothermia, or just maybe just getting lost on the trail and never being found again? All those things are child's play when we're talking about the number 1 fear of all backpackers on the trail, and I'm talking about monkey butt. What is monkey butt, you say? I'm glad you asked. Monkey butt is basically the most severe, worst, most horrible case of chafing that you've ever had in your life. And so what I'm talking about there is when you get 2 bits of your skin rubbing together, the top of your thighs, your butt cheeks, wherever, where the skin's rubbing together. If it's dry, it's okay. But introduce sweat, introduce torrential rain, and now you've got a bad chafing problem that just keeps getting worse and worse and worse as the day goes on, until you're making any deal with the devil. You vow never to go backpacking again, and you're absolutely hating life, and your trip is basically ruined because you can't stop thinking about the area that's hurting. So, my number 1 most important gear item that I absolutely positively refuse to leave home without is this little tube of Monistat Powder Gel lubricating ointment. If you run into any kind of chafing problems on the trail, go with this stuff, because I've tried Vaseline. That stuff goes on real messy. It's greasy. I've tried powders like Johnson's baby powder or Gold Bond medicated powders, but that stuff is kind of mixed results, because if you get it really wet, then it just turns into a horrible paste. So the good thing about this Monistat gel is that, you know, you can put it on wet, you can put it on dry. As the day goes on, if you get really sweaty, or if it's really rainy and you get wet, or even if you go swimming, it's still going to work. So this right here, I've had many trips ruined by a bad case of monkey butt, and since I've started using this, I've had no backpacking trips ruined by a bad case of monkey butt. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 most indispensable, refuse to leave home without them, backpacking gear items. What's yours? I'd love to hear about it. Please leave yours in the comments section below. And now let's talk about the 5 people that I would love to hear from and hear their list of top 5 items. Okay, so counting down the 5 people that we want to challenge to count down their best hiking gear, we're going to start off with number 5, and that is State Parkers. State Parkers are Clint and Melody. They're a couple from Austin, Texas, And they do a lot of backpacking there around Texas and all over. I've seen videos of theirs from all over the place. They mix a nice blend of vlogging, kind of like what you'd see maybe with Casey Neistat or somebody like that, with some really good trail guides of the places that they go and explore and visit. They've got great personality. They're a lot of fun, and I really recommend that you go and check out their channel and subscribe to it. But I'd love to see what their 5 favorite gear items are. Okay, number 4 on our countdown of people that we'd like to challenge is Happy Hikers. Happy Hikers is Becca Tompkins, and she was in the 2017 class of AT thru hikers. She made it, and her channel is very, very good. If you're thinking about hiking the AT, or you just love watching those videos, you need to check hers out. She's very positive, very upbeat, and I just really like her channel and really like her approach. She's got a great attitude and a lot of fun there. So I'd be interested in seeing an AT thru hiker after they've gone 2,000 miles and they've really had an opportunity to think about what they do and don't like to carry. I would love to see her evaluation of this, having done the AT. So Happy Hikers is our number 4. Okay, number 3 on our list of people that we would like to challenge is a YouTube channel called Naturally Inspired. And how I found Naturally Inspired was actually through Instagram. Follow a couple people there, Adam Charles Cheek and also Jessica Steinhilber. They're based out in the Pacific Northwest, and they take a lot of great photographs. And they recently started the Naturally Inspired channel, and I love the photography. I love the way their stuff looks, and they've really been inspiring me to want to get back out to the Pacific Northwest, do some backpacking out there, and I would love to see what is indispensable gear for the Pacific Northwest. So Naturally Inspired is our number 3. Okay, so number 2 on our list of folks that we would like to challenge to count down their top 5 gear is Red River Underground. So about a year and a half ago, when we started getting serious about wanting to explore the Red River Gorge, take our kids out there and find some of the hidden trails, of which there's dozens if not hundreds of them, one of the first channels that we found on YouTube was Red River Underground, and it's a really cool group of guys from Kentucky that love the gorge, and they just make really, really good videos that show you you know, where the cool places to hike are, how to get there, how to have a good time doing it, and they're just a lot of fun. So love these guys. Check out their channel. If you ever want to get down to Kentucky and hike the Red River Gorge, this is definitely a channel that you'd want to consult, because you're going to find all the best trails there. So Red River Underground, check them out, and hopefully they'll respond with their own top 5 video. Okay, and finally we're down to number 1 on the people that we'd like to challenge to do their own top 5 videos. And our number 1 is a channel called Sig Emery, and you're probably familiar with it, but if you're one of the 2 or 3 people that aren't familiar with Sig's channel, that's probably the main reason that I included him. I doubt that he'll see this. He's got a pretty big channel, but this is absolutely my favorite channel for just getting out and seeing stuff having to do with the outdoors. Sig is a big hammock backpacker advocate, and so you're going to find all kinds of good tips and tricks from him on that subject. He lives up in Minnesota, and so he'll take that hammock out, and I think he's been out in like 30 below zero before, and has proven it with a thermometer, and he's taken his hammock out and he's lived to tell the tale. If you're checking out his channel, I would suggest starting with some stuff he does with his buddy Kent. They go around as the Hickory Brothers, and those are some great videos. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're very informative, and I just think he's a great guy. He's got a great spirit, and basically all of his videos are he's helping you with different pieces of gear. You could get 5 from that, but Sig, if you're listening, if you see this, thank you, and love to see a top 5 video just so we can see more content from you. All right, and that's basically it. So we fulfilled our end of the bargain on the challenge. Again, I want to thank Adam Thompson, the serial Photog. If this was helpful, please give us a like. We like the thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if it's entertaining for you. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Until the next time, we'll see you out on the trail.